Hello folks, it's Elton here. So today marks 1 year since Shaka and I entered the van and have been living on the road, so to speak. So I thought I'd come on and do a quick video of just recapping that first year, if you like. I was hoping to make it a bit more flash, if you like, by putting videos and photos here and there during this video, just to show you the things that we have done over the year. But I'm afraid time is not my friend at the moment, whilst working on the campsite, and I'm just not finding the time to kind of get down and dirty with intricate video creation. So rather than not post anything, I thought I'd just come on and just speak to the camera. Sorry about that. So yeah, first year, it's not gone to plan, I'll be honest. You know, I had these dreams of traveling constantly and being constantly on the move. However, that's just not panned out, and that's okay. You know, I'm not doing this for a year or 2 years or 3 years. I'm doing it indefinitely. So, you know, whilst a lot of van lifers seem to be constantly on the move, etc., typically they are people who have set aside a year or 2 years, and financially they have the money to cover that period of time, and then they intend to go back to their normal life, if you like. But because I have no end I have no end date to this experience and my photography project, you know, it's a little bit more realistic, if you like. So I haven't done as much traveling as I would like to, but you know, as I say, it is what it is, and I've got to ensure that I've got the finances in place, obviously, to afford those travels. So just to kind of recap the last year. So when I initially set off, which was the 17th of August 2021, Shaka and I stayed on a local campsite in Cambridge for about a month or so, and that was just, it was deliberate, just to test out the van, see what was working, what wasn't working, what I liked, what I didn't like. If there were any issues with the van, at least I was in an area that I was familiar with, and the garages I was familiar with that could fix any issues that were discovered. From there we kind of set off on a little trip down south, down to Hampshire area, where I spent the winter primarily in the New Forest and near a little town called Leamington in Hampshire on the south coast. That is also where I experienced my first real storm in a van, well, two storms actually, Storm Dudley and then Storm Eunice. Click up here in the top, you'll see my experience of Storm Eunice and how I fled. After that, I kind of made my way up to the Midlands, to Nottingham to be precise, where I had new upholstery fitted into Star, which I'm still very, very happy with. From there, I then went over further north up to Preston, where I purchased a motorcycle trailer, and subsequently a few days later in Cheshire purchased a motorcycle. And again, you can click up here to see the trailer and motorcycle that I ended up purchasing. So these expenses, you know, it was £1,800 for the upholstery, £800 for the trailer, and £2,000 I think it was for the bike, were all unexpected and unbudgeted expenses. So, you know, my finances and my bank balance did take a bit of a hit from that, and therefore I decided that I needed to find a job to generate some income to replenish those costs, and that's when I applied with one of the camping clubs, and subsequently got a job to commence in May. Only a 3-month contract for this initial one, but I thought, well, as I had I think I had a month at that stage, you know, just to travel before the contract started, and I then subsequently went and did a quick tour of the Welsh coastline, starting up in Cheshire and then moving my way around. Spent 5 days on Anglesey and continued my way down the west coast, went to Port Madog, Port Marion, and then went into Pembrokeshire and spent a day on Skomer Island, and again you can click up here somewhere to see the video of my day on Skomer Island. In that time I also had 2 breakdowns. I had a blowout, which, you know, to be expected. You know, if you're living on the road, you're going to have these vehicle issues time to time. The ROC eventually came out and fitted a new tyre. That tyre that they fitted then subsequently led to my second accident or incident, where the wheel literally came off on the motorway and did damage to my vehicle, and I am still in court proceedings with the ROC over that. You can click up here again for the video on that experience. So yeah, you know, there have been its challenges. I also had my first rodent experience where I had an uninvited guest in the vehicle, and I will be creating a video shortly about must-have things in your van, and a humane mousetrap or rat trap is one of those things, having learnt that from experience now. What else is there to mention? So yeah, as I say, I did a whirlwind tour of Wales, making my way down to South Devon, where I'm currently working. As I say, you know, I'm currently working on a campsite, and again up here is a link to the video about campsite pros and cons. You know, it's not ideal, as I mentioned in that video, that I am kind of static in one place. However, needs must. As I said, this is not a year or 2 year gap year type adventure. This is for the foreseeable future, whilst I'm healthy and fit enough to do it. Therefore, you know, money does elapse, and I have to replenish that money somehow. I am still trying to get my photography business up and running again after COVID killed it off, and I'm also looking and exploring other avenues of generating an income that will allow me, hopefully one day in the future, to travel with the photography and these other services, paying for that travel, so that I don't have to be in one place or one campsite for several months at a time. You know, because that's not really why I sold my house and undertook this adventure. You know, the whole idea was to travel as much as possible and see as much as possible. But obviously, you know, that all takes money, guys, and this is, you know, this channel is about the realities of van life. So I'm not just going to show you pictures of me in a new destination every day, because it's just not feasible when you're living full time as a van lifer. So, you know, again, do bear in mind that a lot of the so-called van life channels that you see on YouTube and on social media aren't actually full-time. You know, they're going out for weekends or a week here and there, etc., and they typically wild park, because when you're only doing it for a weekend, it's easy to wild park. It's easy to find a spot for a night or two. It's not that easy to find a spot for a week or 2 or 3 or 4. So wild camping, yes, it's possible full-time, but, you know, as I say, unless you can find a really remote spot like in North Scotland somewhere in England, it's going to be difficult to find a remote enough spot where you can park up for several consecutive days. So unless you're willing to move on a very regular basis, and obviously the cost of diesel being where it is right now, that's, you know, quite an expensive thing. You probably would be cheaper just to pay for a grass pitch somewhere on a campsite than actually moving every day. You know, it's really not feasible as a full-time van lifer to wild park constantly. You know, so yeah, that's one of the things that, you know, I'm quite happy, and I've said from the start really that personally I prefer to be on campsites and have access to electric hookup, because, you know, my laptop is quite power hungry. I obviously constantly editing images and videos, which are all, you know, they do take a lot of processing power, and therefore the laptop does need more than my solar panel and inverter can really supply. If I'm doing a day of work, it's just flattening the batteries quite rapidly. So yeah, that's the first year, as I say. Yeah, I've been to a few castles. Just a reminder, is one of my goals of this long-term photography project to go and visit as many of the 1,000 castles around the UK. So far I've probably done about 10. But if you look through my YouTube channel, you'll find a few videos of the castles I've already been to, and yeah, I hope that that the next year will see me traveling a bit more, and that financially I'll be in a better place once I've got these ideas that are in my head to published online, and hopefully be able to earn a bit of passive income from these ideas. But in the interim, if you are looking for a photographer, whether you want some family portraits, or you just want to update your portfolio, if you're a model or actor, for example, or indeed you're a business looking for commercial photography, please do bear me in mind. Let's have a look through my online galleries and portfolios. If you like the look of my work, get in touch and let's see how I can help you with some images and imagery. Also, if you know anyone in the travel business, travel brands, outdoor brands, camping gear brands, etc., tag them, make them aware of me, or let me know of them, because yeah, I really want to get to a point where my photography is kind of paying for the travels. I'm not expecting handouts. I don't want handouts. That's never who I've been, but I need to travel more in year 2 and see more. But money dictates, fellas and girls. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums up year 1. Again, I know it's not as exciting as I was hoping it to be, but I've certainly learned a lot in that year, and I've certainly realized that it was my intention when I sold up my house, that I was going to use the equity from that sale to buy something in Wales, just a small little house, something to have as a base. But a year later down the road now, I haven't bought, because the market in the UK, the house prices just continue to go up and up and up and up and up. So it's not a great time to buy. And now, having not had a house for a year and having experienced van life for the past year, I'm actually less inclined to become a homeowner again. I haven't ruled it out completely. It is just something that is less in the forefront of my mind at the moment. I may still buy a house down the road just to have a base, because let's be honest, I'm sure there's going to come a time in the future where I'm not going to be physically able to live the van life anymore, and I might then want a house to go back to, and to settle down and grow older. But yeah, at the moment there's no rush to be a homeowner again. I've kind of settled into this lifestyle and its challenges, and although I am in one place at the moment for a few months, I do have the bike. I am therefore able to still get out and explore the local areas and such. So it's not all bad news for me. It's not ideal, but it's not bad. It's really, I can't complain. It is what it is, and as I say, this is an indefinite thing that's going to go on for as long as I'm able to do it. Therefore, I've just got to keep reminding myself that that I don't just have a year and to go and see and do everything. And I have, well, I don't know how long I have, let's be honest. I have as long as I'm living and breathing, I guess. So what I've decided to do also is, because I get a lot of questions about cost of living and how much it costs to be a van lifer and such, and obviously that's how long's a piece of rope kind of question, because it all depends on your choices and how you choose to live your van life experience. If you choose to wild camp and move every day, in some ways it may be cheaper or it may be more expensive. Like I say, if you're moving on a daily basis, and depending on how far you're moving every day, you've got to take into account your diesel costs. So it really does depend. But obviously what I've decided to do is to do almost like a, and if you guys remember Two Broke Girls, where every episode they had kind of a running bank balance total, either at the start or end of the episode. So I thought I might do that in the second year. So starting off with a budget of, let's say, $3,000. I will then each episode kind of give an update on that bank balance and what the expenditures or income has been to get to the new balance at the end of the episode. So I'm hoping that will just give you some kind of realistic view of how much things cost. But again, I just want to make it clear that obviously it's based on my circumstances and the fact that I prefer to stay on campsites rather than traveling around every day. So it's things like insurance cover, petrol for the bike while I go out exploring, petrol and diesel for the van, obviously, pitch fees, that kind of stuff. And again, whilst I'm working for campsites, I don't pay for my pitch fee. So again, it's going to be a little bit skewed, but hopefully it give you some kind of idea of what is possible, and hopefully give you an idea of the costs of being a van lifer. One thing I have also learned over the past year of doing this channel now is that I'm struggling to get traction, to be honest. Let's face it, it's a year now that I've been making these van life, or over a year actually, that I've been making the van life related content. And whilst I'm so happy for the 340 odd people who have subscribed to my channel, honestly, genuinely am, it's been a struggle, and my goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, at which point YouTube then pay me a few pennies because I start putting adverts in my videos. I know it's not great, people don't like adverts, but for the creators, every penny helps, to steal Tesco phrase there. So that's my goal for this year, is to try and get the channel up to 1,000 subscribers so that I can at least start generating as another income stream some pennies from YouTube. Also, if I can get 1,000 subscribers, I can then start affiliate marketing and start putting links in the description to items that I use, that I review, etc. And if any of you good people then go off and buy that item, I get a few pennies commission from that. So again, as I say, every penny helps, and I just want to get to a point really where I don't have to work on campsites and I don't have to be static for periods of time. I can just continue moving around, because ultimately, as I said, that's what I aim to do. That's what presumably you guys are following me to see. So that is going to be my main goal for year 2, is just to get to a point where I'm financially self-sufficient from my photography services, from selling photography items, from the training courses I'm looking to put together, from the various other ideas that I have. So that's going to be the plan. So I do hope that you'll continue to support me, those who already are, and that I will start, things will get a bit more exciting for you guys over the next year. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do consider hitting that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you can get notified of new releases. And I hope to see you on the road. Cheers everybody, until next time, be safe, be kind, be happy.